So my last video that I posted, I only expected to get maybe like maximum 20 views. So when my video got like 1,000 views in a week, I had a realization that a lot of people are searching for vinyl collections on YouTube. I was just gonna do a video on a wrap up of my 2017 reading, and then also do a resolutions of 2018 and what do I want to achieve in 2018. First, what did Kira read in 2017? Alright, I had like the worst reading year of my life. I had the goal of reading 25 books in 2017, which was probably the largest amount of books I have read in a year in like a decade. So I ended up reading over 25 books. I hit my goal. However, I wouldn't say that my reading year was that good though, because I hated a lot of books I read, or didn't think very well of a lot of books I read, I guess. Like I didn't read one 5-star book all year. Definitely one of my goals for 2018, read a 5-star book. Or read a book you like, yeah. First book I read was Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell. I gave this book a 3 out of 5 stars. Then I read Modern Romance by Aziz Ansari. I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars. I don't read much nonfiction, but I read this book and I was like, alright, nonfiction. I'm gonna read some more of this. And then I read Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell, and I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. The reason I read 2 Rainbow Rowell books so quick early in the year is because I read this book, Carry On by Rainbow Rowell, at the end of 2016. I really liked it. Me and gay romance, it's weird, but I really like it. Picked up all this Rainbow Rowell at the start of 2017. Didn't end up liking it as much because it didn't have gay romance. And I realized, oh, I liked this book because of the gay romance, not because of the writing. And then my graphic novel obsession started. First off, I read Saga Volume 1, which I gave a 4 out of 5 stars to. Continued on to read Volume 2, which I gave 3 out of 5 stars to. Volume 3, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars to. Volume 4, which I gave 3 out of 5 stars to. And Volume 5, which I gave a 3 out of 5 stars to. Yeah, I went on a bit of a binge. I literally picked up Volume 1 of Saga and read it, and I was like, I love graphic novels. Where can I get these? I then read The Martian by Andy Weir. Wow, good memory. I remember giving this a 2, but I actually gave it a 3, so this book has not aged well with me. I found this book pretty boring. And then I went to go watch the movie after I read this. I could only get through like 30 minutes and I couldn't watch the movie anymore. I don't know what it is with me and The Martian. We just don't go well together at all. Then I read Mouse by Art Spiegelman. This was a 3 out of 5 stars. Then I read Volume 2. I felt like all the potential that the first volume had, it like all happened in the second volume, and I got so excited. I was like, this is what I wanted from the first volume. And I guess that makes them like a really good duology, right? Because the first one sets it up and then the second one is like, yes. Then I read Saga Volume 6, which I gave a 4 out of 5 stars to. I love Saga. Definitely think if anyone wants to like get into graphic novels, Saga's your best bet, or Mouse. I was like so into Saga. I got Alex and Ada Volume 1. I read it and I was like, ew, this book sucks. Gave it a 2 out of 5. I just found the illustrations to be really hostile and like not very good at building a world. Like you can sort of see it, I don't know. Like it's literally grey, which I guess if that's what it's trying to do, cool, but it didn't really work for me because I just read Saga Volume 6. And Saga, if you've read Saga, you would know that the illustrations are so vibrant, so much color, so much life, and so many different, like, just a variety of things. And then to pick this up and look at this, it just made me feel like, wow, this is so bland. So I just didn't like this graphic novel at all. And then I read On Loving Women, which I gave a 2 out of 5 stars to. Yeah. I then read Watchmen by Alan Moore, which I gave a 4 out of 5 stars to. I really liked Watchmen. Watchmen is great. Once again, yeah, I would recommend Mouse, Saga, and Watchmen. Those are like the 3 best graphic novels I read all year. And then I read Night Film by Marisha Pessl, and I really liked this book. I gave it a 4 out of 5. Definitely made me like realize how much I love psychological, murder, mystery, thriller-esque books. I really want to read more of this genre this year. this year. I decided to pick up Sharp Objects by Gilligan Flynn because I was so obsessed with night film and this like mystery genre, so I was like, oh, let's read more mystery. I hate this book. If I was like a booktuber, which I'm not, but hypothetically, I would do like a 30-minute rant video about everything I hate about this book. I hated this book so much, I gave it a 1. No, I gave it a 2. I'm too nice. Too nice. Then I read The Girls by Emma Cline, another book I hated. My god. I gave this book a 2 out of 5 stars. Boring! I just found this book really pretentious, but a lot of people liked this book, so I don't know if maybe I just have my own problems with it being boring and pretentious. Then I read V for Vendetta by Alan Moore, and I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars. It's pretty solid, good book. Then I read Half of a Yellow Sun by, okay, let's try this, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. I know I didn't say that right. This was a 3 out of 5 as well. This was the year of 3 out of 5s and 2 out of 5s. And then I read the worst book of the year, Miss Dalloway by Virginia Woolf. I couldn't finish this. I hated it so much. I read like 60% of it and I was like, nope. I was waiting for a plot and it never happened, and I guess it's like, it's really cool because there is no plot. Like that's meant to be the point, but I don't know. Sorry if I asked for a plot in a 200-page book. Then I read Saga Volume 7, which I gave a 3 out of 5. Then I struggled through The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I don't know, this looks like I'm literally a book hater, this video, but I just had a bad year. I think I do love a lot of books. But yeah, I don't know, it was just bad luck. I kept picking up books I didn't like. I gave this a 2 out of 5 stars. They killed off the only character I liked in the whole book. They killed off halfway through. I'm not going to say which character it is, obviously, because that's a spoiler, but if you've read it, you'll know who I'm talking about. I didn't understand why people like this book. I thought all the characters were super annoying. Then thank God after that book, I picked up Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas by Hunter S. Thompson. I loved the characters in this book. These are the types of characters I like. And they're sort of funny, like they're sort of likable. There's qualities about them that are like, oh yeah, that's charming. It sounds so mean in this video. But yeah, this is a 4 out of 5. And then I decided, okay, I'm gonna read another classic. Whenever I read classics, I usually like them, so it's like, okay, let's read The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. Loved this book. This is a 4 out of 5 stars. If I would do 0.5 ratings, which I can't because Goodreads doesn't allow you to, and I hate Goodreads because they don't allow you to. No, I'm kidding, I love Goodreads. This would be a 4.5. Like, I think this was the best book I read all year. Oh no, Saga Volume 1 was really good too. It would be like between Saga Volume 1 and this book, what is the best book I read this year, but this was definitely up there. This went in places I didn't expect, which I really liked, and the ending was super good. I love the type of ending that this book had, which again, I can't say what type of ending it had because spoilers. But yeah, I definitely want to watch the Hulu series. My laptop's been like dead for a week, so I can't, but I watched 1 episode before my laptop died and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna like this. So I can't wait to keep watching the Hulu series. Then I read another horrible book, Not That Kind of Girl by Lena Dunham, aka Mrs. I'm so privileged, but I like to whine all the time because my life is so hard even though I'm privileged. This sucked. I do want to read more non-fiction though, because I really did like modern romance. I think I just picked up the wrong book. I think I'll love non-fiction when I actually pick up a book by someone I like. And then the last book I read of the year, for some reason I read all the classics at the end of the year. We Have Always Lived in a Castle by Shirley Jackson. Very solid 4 out of 5. I really like gothic fiction. Frankenstein by Mary Shelley is my favorite book of all time, so this is right up my alley. Mother by Darren Aronofsky. Darren Aronofsky. I'm not going to say his name because I've tried to say it 20 times and I can't get it, so you can look up the movie. Look up Mother 2017. I would definitely say if someone likes Mother, if someone's like in love with Mother like me, then you need to pick this up. This would be a book that Mother was inspired by, I guess. That's the best way to put it. So yeah, that's all the books I read in 2017. I read 27 books and I had a goal of reading 25, so I was really happy. I had a goal to read more graphic novels, had a goal to read more non-fiction, which I guess I did in a way, but I feel like I could have read more non-fiction because I think I only read 2 non-fiction books. I've definitely read a lot of graphic novels. I had a goal to read more classics, which I sort of did. I think I read 3, right? I read like 3.5, if you count Miss Dalloway as a half. And I liked 3 of them. I know I'm gonna love classics. I have a harder time picking them up than any other book, but I definitely want to read more classics. My other goal was to read the 5th Harry Potter book. I read all the other Harry Potter books when I was younger, except the 5th one, randomly. I don't think I understood how the series worked, and I would just pick up random ones and read them and not even like understand what order they were in. I just never ended up picking up the 5th one. I read the 3rd one and the 4th one like probably 30 times when I was younger, but I never read the 5th one. So that was a goal in 2017 to read The Order of the Phoenix, but I never did. So that's another goal I'm taking into 2018. Let's get into 2018. My goals for my reading in 2018 is to read 30 books, which is the most amount of books I've ever read in a year. Hopefully I can achieve it. I think I will be able to. I keep increasing my reading goal every year and I always hit it. My other goal is to read The Order of the Phoenix, which I have started doing. Here it is. I'm going to read it. I'm reading it right now. I'm on a page 112, I think. So you can see how far through that is right there. I started reading it right at the end of December. Can say I finally read all the Harry Potter books. The third goal for 2018 is to read an audiobook, or I guess listen to an audiobook, which I'm doing as well. I would show you, but I'm filming this on my phone, like some Povo person. My audiobook's on my phone, and I'm reading Call Me By Your Name, I think it's called. It's the book that came out as a movie. It's a gay romance, which I thought would be a book that I should read. If everybody's talking about it as a gay romance, why am I not reading it? I'm nearly finished with it. It's alright. I'm having some issues with like the audiobook though. I think it's just me trying to get used to a new sort of thing because I struggle to keep my attention with audiobooks for some reason. Like I'll be doing things while I'm listening to the audiobook and I'll just sort of phase out for a sec. Like, I don't even realize that I've just missed a whole page. But I can't be stuffed like going back and like trying to rewind. So I end up just like keep reading. So there's probably like a chapter or so of Call Me By Your Name that like I've just skipped out on. But I do understand the book. I guess sometimes you do that with actual books, right? Like you sometimes read it and you're like, well, I haven't read that last paragraph. Can I be stuffed reading again? Not really. Let's just keep reading. Fourth goal I have is to read more non-fiction because I know I'm gonna like non-fiction if I read it. Pick up those non-fiction books, Kira. I have a goal to read 5 classics. Doesn't sound that hard, does it? It's only 5. I definitely want to read Lolita. Like that is the classic I want to read next. So I've got millions of classics that I own. Like just pick them up. Another goal I have is to read this book, And the Mountains Echoed by Khaled Hosseini. I've read The Kite Runner and I've read A Thousand Splendid Suns and I loved both those books. I bought this when it originally came out, but I never read it. And it's been years and I'm like, why am I not picking this up? So I'm trying to like get myself to read it. A Thousand Splendid Suns is one of my favorite books of all time. It's in my top 5 books. It started my love for adult fiction back when I was like 13 years old. I remember I was reading it and I was like, what? Books can be mature? I love Hosseini's writing. It's like, why don't I just read this already? I'm gonna read it, right? I hope so. My next goal is to read City of Bones. I never read Cassandra Clare before. I don't usually like to pick up too much young adult nowadays because I always feel like I'm disappointed. But I bought this back when I was really into young adult, but I never ended up reading it. And now I own this. And I also, from a library store, I ended up picking up City of Ashes. I also own Clockwork Prince and City of Fallen Angels. I own all these books, but I never read them. Can I read these already? Like, I'm missing books in between. I'll buy them when I get up to them. Definitely a goal is to start reading these. And everybody always talks about it, so I just want to read it and find out what's happening. Why is everybody talking about this book? I'll probably not even understand why everybody's talking about this book once I read it, because I hate every book I read. Coming up to like the last couple of resolutions for 2018, I read Mistborn. I think I read this in 2016. I always wanted to continue the series, but I just never ended up buying the second book. It was sort of a goal in 2017 to read it, but I never owned it, so it wasn't like a goal that I had in mind for real. But then I bought it at the end of 2017 with Christmas money, and I was like, okay, this is my goal, 2018. Read The Wall of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson. I really liked Mistborn, the first book, The Final Empire it's called. I want to own them all. I also want to read them. I don't want to just own books, I want to read them as well. A lot of these resolutions is like literally just like read books that you've been talking about reading for 5 years. My second last goal is to read Akira, which this is the second one. I have this from a library sale, but the first one wasn't there. I'm gonna have to borrow from the library the first one. I want to read more graphic novels because I read so many last year and I want to keep reading them. So my next goal is to read Akira, hopefully the series. And my last goal of 2018 is read a Stephen King book. I'm literally a self-proclaimed horror fanatic. I haven't read a Stephen King book. I have The Shining, like I already own The Shining. The Shining is in my top 5 movies of all time. If you can't tell, I love saying what's in my top 5s of things, like I have all my lists in my head. I own The Shining by Stephen King. It's over sitting on my TBR shelf, which is like a little pile of books I have right next to where I sleep. It's underneath all these other books, so I can't be stuff-grabbing it out of there. But yeah, read a Stephen King book. For the love of God, read a Stephen King book already. Every booktuber and their mother is reading it at the moment. I love The Shining moving more. I mean, I don't know if that's because it's Stanley Kubrick, who I love. Like, I love Stanley Kubrick as a director. I feel like I'm gonna like The Shining, the book. Hopefully. It's not too much different from the movie that I watched that I love so much. So yeah, those are my resolutions. We'll see how it goes. I feel like I'm gonna watch this back at the end of 2018. Like, maybe I've completed everything, but I feel like I'm never gonna read this. And the fact that I own 4 of them, it's like, why? That's the end of my video. I am now a full-fledged booktuber. What I do is, like, a lot of the time I'll have a lot of goals for my reading and then I never complete any of them. So I thought, okay, I'll make a video. Then I'll do the goals. I don't know where I get these ideas from, but apparently the logic comes out strong because I'm making this video.